Welcome back to another YouTube video, guys. I really encourage you guys to watch this thing whole way through. It's definitely something that you haven't seen. Definitely something I'm gonna learn while watching it. I haven't watched this video before. This is it, guys. This is how to W key like Deyy. This is a solo cash cup where he did relatively well. He made money. He came 10th place, I believe. And I think that there's a lot of things that you can learn. We're gonna be learning a lot about his fighting skill and his fighting ability and what he does to win fights so consistently. One thing I want to emphasize before we really get into it is the fact that Deyy, in my personal opinion, does stuff that is really unexpected, which makes him, you know, so good. And obviously there's a lot of mechanics in it and a lot of, you know, specific decisions that he makes that are really smart. However, I think his playstyle is like what I call the unexpected playstyle. So players will never be able to predict what he's doing, and that's where he catches them off guard. So 84 right there, really good shot. Now he's going to play really aggressive because of that health advantage. Now this health advantage is inexcusable. Right here, the reason why he doesn't immediately run up, right? The reason why he's just crosshairing is he thinks that the enemies just might drop down and also, you know, catch him off guard. Also, if he runs up, he knows the enemy's right up here, right on this stair on my mouse. He can potentially shoot Deyy in the back of the head, so he's not going to run up here. If he hears the enemy try to pop a mini, he's going to aggress in that case. 200 HP Deyy versus like a 10 HP enemy. Very good fight to take. The next fight's really simple. This guy, I mean, this is first game. This is the reality of it, guys. Like, easy to win and also easy to fight in, right? So one thing I really want to emphasize in games like these is you can judge your enemies. If you're fighting your enemy and they're not building that well or editing that fast or even, you know, playing really slow, you can sort of tell whether they're an easy player to pick off. And in that case, you definitely want to key and make sure that you're getting that kill. Okay, so Deyy is approaching another person here. This guy's clearly another noob. He's not building properly. You can see he's spamming stairs everywhere. This is why Deyy continues to go for that AR spray, because I mean, it's very obvious that this guy's not experienced. And so obviously another fight, yeah, he can take. All these people like don't really understand how to build that well. Very important you go after them. Those are the free kills that you can go after. I will emphasize though that, you know, you should understand your playstyle. Obviously Deyy is an amazing W keyer, amazing fighter. He can W key way harder than we can. I definitely encourage you guys to key up first game, right? Not only for experience, but also the fact that you can definitely kill some of these people. As you can see, there are always people that you can go after and get those kills from, but I do recommend kind of toning back and not keying as hard as Deyy is doing. This is very simple. He accidentally gets the Pokeball cone, which is basically when you catch them in your cone. It's very easy to go for the shot at that point. Also, I will say, when you're coning someone and you edit, it's very easy to get cross replacement because it's very predictable where they're going to be sitting. 96 on him. He understands that he only got hit for 20. This guy will not even have a single opportunity to even pop a single mini, right? It's very important. Hits him really hard. This is where you go for the 50-50 because you hit him for 70 earlier and 100 now. So that's, you know, 30 HP left. One AR shot should be enough. 10 HP actually, right, with the shotgun. So it's very important that you pressure when you have a significant HP advantage. So I want you guys to notice, right, so far this fight, we'll go back a little bit because it's super important to understand who has HP advantage here, right? Here's a little trivia question for you guys. The answer is no one. Right, because Deyy hasn't hit him yet, and I want you guys to notice the spacing between Deyy and his enemy. In this case, Deyy is spacing himself 1 or 2 blocks away from the enemy, and the reason is because no one has an advantage, right? Deyy doesn't have a reason to jump in or get really close to his opponent because of the fact that his HP is exactly the same as the opponent. If you haven't tagged the enemy at all yet, you have to assume that he's full HP. Right here, he's getting third party. He knows the enemy's distracted, so he makes the wide edit instead of making a right hand peanut butter or right hand window. Deyy just goes for the wide edit because of the fact that he knows the opponent's looking the other way and also distracted. The opponent's pinched in this case by 2 opponents. Deyy's using that to his advantage, even though the other guy not on Deyy's team at all. He's using that to his advantage to make sure that he can kill this guy really quickly. He almost gets the piece there, but he should just jump in at this point, right? Because of the fact that the enemy's so low, and now he's gonna go for the other kill. Right here, he's in a bush. He's kind of sketched, so Deyy's sort of not just jumping in. You don't actually know where the opponent is. Every time you don't know where the opponent is, you need to take a step back and make sure you understand it before you just rush. So right now, Deyy gets a glimpse of where the opponent is. Now he's sort of taking shots, right? Does 100 damage again, right? Deyy only gets hit for 20, and now he's gonna pressure even harder, right? And we'll talk about this kill. So he gets the edit. Gets this edit, which is really nice. You know, Deyy can shoot him. This guy doesn't have a really good angle to shoot Deyy. I think the peanut butter would have been better in this case regardless, but it's okay. Right, tries to go for the wide edit. What he's trying to do here is the fact that he can go for a wide edit and then use the cone. You can see him stepping back, so he's moving his joystick back to hide behind the cone and use the cone as a peak, so he makes a really super wide edit. However, he misses the edit, right? So then he just goes for this peanut butter, jump up, and then shoot place floor, right? Because of the fact that he jumps up and he was originally on a cone, he's able to do this. Every time you can always shoot build, you should always shoot build. Shoot build is much easier than shoot reset. So in this case, it's much better for Deyy to go, you know, go for something where he can shoot build. And in this case, he does have an opportunity to do that. Very good for Deyy to actually recognize that. He has a really good knowledge of peaks and also good arsenal of peaks. What I mean by that is the fact that he doesn't only do peanut butter and windows, he always uses different edits based on the situation. Understands that this guy's only on one wall. Hits him really hard, even though Deyy's hurt. Deyy's significantly hurt here. He got hit for 70. Deyy's 130 HP. This guy's like 50 HP. Deyy should push. Deyy should not heal here. And also Deyy's really confident because of the fact that it's game 1, right? And this guy won't be able to hit him back because he's not that good. And also, you know, Deyy's pretty confident because he's a really good fighter. So yeah, there's a bunch of reasons why Deyy's just WPing in this case, right? So 2 AR shots is enough to kill. So that's very obvious why Deyy's just shoving it. Really hard hit again. He often figures out if a box is only held on 1 or 2 walls, and if it is, then he uses that to get a free pump shot on the opponent, because you must notice as you're falling, it's very difficult to build. So he tries to go for an AR. Deyy hits him 116, and in this case Deyy has a significant HP advantage. It's very simple. Again, it's the same thing. HP advantage is everything, and Deyy's just going to continue to pressure almost like recklessly because of the fact that he just wants speed in this pressure, right? You just care about speed at this point. You don't want this guy to heal, so Deyy's just going to really make sure he's pushing in. Even in this case, he's using a pump pickaxe strat right here, where then in that case you only need 1 pickaxe to break the wall, and then continues to push forward.
Is it worth it to catch?
Tries to piece control, messes up, but I can see his intent, right? So he tries to place a wall, catch himself, and then window full box, right?
But
it doesn't do it.
The camp edge first time.
Pieces controls in case this guy falls over, and then again recklessly push in. I almost encourage this, guys. If you have a significant HP advantage, you kind of need to do this. Jumps in and kills. Sometimes you can tell what shotgun the enemy has, whether it's a spaz or a regular pump. Understand whether you can get one pumped by that charge or the shotgun, and then push forward if you cannot get 1 pump. In most fights, you can get some sort of information just from audio cues whether the enemy has a spaz or a regular pump. Yeah, this guy's a blue pump, right? So then Deyy's just pressuring. Thing to notice here, even on a left-hand peak, you really don't want to be standing on this floor because that's how you get boxed. And also you can get coned and not, you know, have something to place. So every time you're smacking on a wall, you always want to be on the diagonal, just like Deyy is here. Even if you're smacking on a left hand, right, just like this, and because, you know, if the enemy opens, you can just place this wall right here. You can definitely just place this wall. Also, the other thing is when you're smacking on a diagonal, it's much harder for your opponent to even see where you are. It's not that obvious. Tries to get a cheeky shot there, doesn't get hit that hard, so because of Deyy's confidence, he's just going to continue to push. He doesn't. Okay, now even trade. Right, so he's gonna heal. This is the first instance where Deyy doesn't even trade, doesn't have an HP advantage, right? They trade, but then Deyy looks to heal. Like, he heals up, and now after the healing, now he has HP advantage. So now he goes for this. I don't think this is the perfect peak, but I think because it's game 1, he's not doing like everything absolutely perfect. Love this little move back here, right? He doesn't have HP advantage on this guy, right? I think we can agree on that. Because of that, he doesn't full jump in. As he's breaking in to shoot this guy, he sort of backs up, you know, holds his S key, again, you know, joystick, he's moving backwards, and he sort of makes sure that he's not in the box with the opponent, right? So he shoots and then immediately walls. Again, the same thing with the shoot build thing, right? It's very important that you understand that concept. But also, after this shot, he's gonna make a peek on this wall and then, you know, kill the enemy. Just like this. I've never seen a lot of pros do this where they jump in, right, and then immediately back out. They don't go in that hard, right? They shoot this guy and then place a wall, and now you have him full box naturally, right? So I think that was a very good combination by Deyy. Again, another really good piece control. This is a piece control ability coming in really hard. He has a full HP advantage on this guy, 120 damage advantage, and now he's just gonna push and end the fight. Again, very key thing. This is so simple, right? This very simple idea of pushing when you have an HP advantage and not pushing when you don't have an HP advantage. If you just go for a trade, most likely you'll just win, because 200 HP versus a 70 HP target, who's favored? I would put my money on the 200 HP guy, right? Even if you're even skill. And obviously Deyy has the skill advantage and the HP advantage. There's ways to push aggressively that you can do to make sure that you're not, you know, jumping in. If you don't want to jump in, if you don't want to get at, you know, be at risk of getting 1 pump by a gold spaz, then you definitely want to space yourself a little bit further, and also make sure you're peeking everything if possible, right? And that just comes down to practice and your mechanical ability. So Deyy hits him for 140. Deyy's pretty low, but he has an advantage. That's not HP, but the fact that he's ahead of Storm, and this guy has to come out towards him. So when this guy makes an edit, he will not be able to have his gun out instantly. He's gonna have what's called gun swap delay, and Deyy's crosshairing with his gun already. So when this guy edits to come out, it's really easy to kill him. So Deyy notices he's popping heals and is also kind of unaware. He looks kind of clueless, so he just pickaxes the wall, doesn't even try to replace because that's slower, and then gets the kill. But his HP very low right here, right? He needs to be a little bit careful. He needs to only go for people where he's not at risk of getting shot back, right? That was a really good pump. This is a good target to go for. The guy he's fighting doesn't know what Deyy's HP is, right? That's a key factor. So Deyy plays confident in that case, but also because of the fact that, you know, he hits him 124. That's a big HP advantage, and also is going to make this guy panic, right? Most people that are panicked and also, you know, rushing to play defensively are not going to go for counter shots. Most people. It's very low. Looks to heal again. He gets a lot of heals off, and then looks to peek right here, right? Very good kill there. Does a lot of good box fighting techniques there. Look at this little edit right here, right? A lot of people would not expect that. And also strafes really hard to the left to make it hard for the opponent to hit him. Builds right there because he doesn't have his gun out. If you notice, he gets his pickaxe out to loot. right? He split second, pulls out his pickaxe. Also, this guy has his gun out, right? So you don't want to fight there. There's a lot of mats actually, so this is why Deyy should go for height. And the reason is because he just picked up 700 mats from that kill. Even if there was someone on height, he can easily retake, because at this stage of the game, no one has 700 mats. Deyy is definitely highest mats in the game. This gives him the leverage to go for height. But Deyy being Deyy, he wants to go for kills. So he's not just gonna play height safely. He's just gonna go for those kills. That's just his play style. It's just the fact that I would have just played height and, you know, secured kills with my AR, because that's necessarily safer. I'm not as good of a fighter as Deyy is, right? But Deyy being such a good fighter, he's gonna really try to go for the frags and maximize his points out of this game.
Well, I killed clicks.
Even though it might be a little bit less safe, that's just his playstyle. He wants to maximize kills. And, you know, Deyy W King is much safer than any of us W King, just because he understands how to do it. Again, he has so many mats, so every time this guy goes for hay, the enemy should not be able to get it. 51, nice, good damage. Very, very easy kill. Something I want to emphasize right here, Deyy shoots him from the bottom at first, right? Now the enemy's attention is drawn to that angle, right, horizontally, and then Deyy immediately goes up and then edits this guy probably doesn't know that the top is Dey's. Deyy has a perfect angle to finish this fight off, right? That's sort of things that you can do to where you may not need a peek necessarily. You can just make a wide edit if you just go for different angles all the time. Dey's not sort of a peeker in a playstyle thing. He just sorts of plays a lot of different angles and makes sure that he's sort of surprising his enemy with his unexpected tactic.
This is why.
It's a very big kill win right there, right? The reason why he's able to drop so many kills is not only his consistency in his fighting, never does some sort of undisciplined rule where he's 50 HP and the enemy's 200 HP and then he just keeps fighting. That's obviously wrong. You definitely need to heal to catch back up, but also the first shot in any fight, Deyy usually gets the first shot. So that just comes down to peak and, you know, your fighting ability and your awareness of where the enemy is. Making sure you get that first shot can be very crucial to make sure you get that first HP advantage. We can snowball into a fight end by you just jumping in their box or getting another, you know, aggressive play. Also understand that Dey's just a good fighter, right? This comes with a lot of practice, whether it comes to wagers, whether it comes to making sure you're playing zone wars, you know, realistics, arena, all these sorts of things can improve your fighting ability. Put more time into practice into fighting, better start you'll have to your solo cash cups. So definitely understand that fact as well. And then we'll look at how Deyy W keys in a higher elo lobbies where the opponents will be more challenging. The funny thing is all the rules that I've just said, where, you know, W key when you have HP advantage, even in a high elo lobby, this will apply. The reason why Dey's W king here is because this guy's white, Deyy has a right hand peek, and he only has one mini, which is not a lot of heals, right? And when you don't have a lot of heals and you're committed to a fight, you don't really care to waste time for that, right? Sick right hand peek right here. Also probably has info that this guy's low mats just because of the fact that he didn't build here, right? So Deyy misses a shot, loses HP, probably has prior info on this guy that this guy is white, right? And then immediately does the right hand peek right here. 2 right hand peeks end the fight. This guy has big pots and stuff, but he just doesn't have mats. So he just sits, doesn't W key, only 1 kill to his name by 3rd circle. He's just sitting in a house and sort of waiting for enemies to come by. If someone walks by, then he can surprise them. This is something that you can really do. Don't make a lot of footsteps in houses. Just get ready and then sit still. You'll see a lot of people walk by you and you might be able to get an impact just like this guy, right? And then full boxes him. He's happy to full box there just because of the fact that he hit that 100 damage. If he doesn't hit that 100 damage, then he's probably just going to run. But because he hits that 100 damage, he's happy to enter a 50-50 where he has the HP advantage. That's advantageous. You would want to do that, right? So that's exactly what Deyy does. These sorts of fights are way better than just, you know, finding someone and then I want to fight this guy, right? That's not actually that good because you didn't start with an advantage. Deyy has the surprise factor here, which turns into a 100 HP advantage, which turns into a full box, into a dead. This has the potential to net him a launch pad, right? And if he gets a launch pad, that makes his endgame better. Gets a 84 damage, that's HP advantage again. Deyy's still full HP, and then he's happy to just run past, not even place this wall, right? Run past and then place all the backwards wall. Right now he gets a full mat refresh and half zone. Somehow finds height, probably using his mats that he found, probably off that impact that he found. So usually when you find an impact in half first moving or second moving, that usually should end up with you taking height. Simple AR kill right there. He's looking for kills. Deyy's definitely hungry for kills here. Finds an unsuspecting enemy without a cone on his top and also in wood, which gives the indication that this guy's probably scuffed because he's building out of wood, and also doesn't have a cone on his top, and also is not even looking. If you look through the wood, you can find out that this guy's not looking up, which gives you the, you know, indication that you can just jump in even without an HP advantage, because the advantage is not HP in that case. The advantage is the surprise factor, and that, you know, is something that if you watch Reed a lot, you'll notice he does that a lot too. A lot of controller players actually do that, I've noticed. That guy dies. Very good for Deyy. Unfortunate. So what Deyy should have done in this case is the fact that he should be very careful about dropping down. But I also think that it's kind of, you know, it's kind of not his fault because of the fact that he doesn't have a lot of mats. Usually in this case, Deyy would have put walls behind him to make sure no one runs up behind him and catches him off guard, and they don't have that surprise factor advantage on him. But because he has no mats, it's very difficult for him to do this. But again, 3rd place is pretty good. I think most people are pretty happy with 3rd place, and that's sort of the thing you want. Again, surprise factor. Right, same thing. Also probably his info that this guy's low, right? Because I think what happened here is that this was a fight. A fight just happened. This guy's busy looting, right? So Deyy takes this advantage to jump in. Also, it seems to be an off spawn fight. Has a great pump. I think Deyy wants to take a fight to find a better shotgun.
I'm chilling out with this next game.
That's just Deyy. I wouldn't do this. I would be pretty happy with the loadout that I have. Maybe find an impact for mats. Gets a really nice right hand peek. Also understand that most people, if you just go into their builds like this, like maybe not for an extended duration, like, you know, a minute straight, but Deyy just does this so the enemy doesn't expect. Like right here, I don't think this guy knows where Deyy is, right? Actually he does because he shoots, but also, you know, Deyy does have the right hand peek, so that gives him an advantage.
And
Just like that. Right here is very simple. Gets the wall. If you really pay attention, right here he's taking minis. This gives the indication to Deyy that this guy's low, right? So definitely cone this. This guy probably out of mats. Like, I don't know why he's not expanding out. No, he has a lot of mats. Wow. That guy tries to pump heals instead of expanding out, because that in that case, if you just sit on that stair, you're just definitely dead. Doesn't matter who's spraying at you. Oh, good awareness on the enemy there. That was very, very good. That was very, very good. I'm very impressed by that, actually. Easy kill. Good prediction on Deyy's part, right? Gets the cone over the top, places the floor, and then edits down immediately because he knows that this guy's only option is to really run sideways. He could run out the side, but again, the enemy probably doesn't expect this. And the reason why Deyy's so aggressive is the fact that this guy's 20 HP. Huge HP advantage, right? You definitely want to pressure that and make sure you can net that kill. Any kill that you get, even if they don't have mats originally, even siphon mats at this stage of the game, very valuable. 150 mats is a lot, right? It's a significant amount. It can definitely help you survive a little bit longer. And you know, the longer you can survive, the more opportunities you'll find to find kills. Uses a lot of mats, covers his back in case there's like flopper players coming, or even other height takers. Covers everything so this guy can't crank for height easily. I'm sitting on the right hand just waiting for him.
The 1v1.
It's a 1v1 situation. He's just piecing everything, making it as hard as possible for this guy. The other guy's using chuck cannon, trying to take height. Deyy tries to cuck him by, you know, placing as many builds as possible to prevent him from going for height, but this is very difficult. I think Deyy's gonna lose.
Got one shot in the chuck cannon.
No way. No, he loses. He loses. Shit. No way Deyy wins this. I refuse. Yeah, it's lost. Definitely lost.
Let's go! I'm crazy!
I want you guys to pay attention to his health. This is why I thought it was GG, right? Because if the other guy just stays up, it's 1. So Deyy definitely didn't take any chuck cannon shots, and the enemy also knows that Deyy took a lot of storm damage because when the enemy was going for height, Deyy was in storm for a very long time. Probably took like 6-7 ticks just from storm. So that was a lot of information to the enemy. So if the enemy had any map, this was definitely the wrong play by the enemy to drop down, right? You should just keep tarping, right? You have the information that you are winning on whites. I think Deyy has a really good shot. Like, holy moly, man. That was incredible. That was really, really clutch right there. That was really, really clutch. I seriously think that aim can be one of those things that can save you out of those losing moments, right? And there's proof right there. And I know everyone's gonna comment, oh my god, aim assist, controller, like, trust me, if controller had nothing, you know, no aim skill, then Deyy would not be hitting these pumps and everyone would be hitting these pumps. But we know that's not true. What a sequence. That was so good. Okay, let me break this down for you guys, right? So he's launching. He just noticed. I want to show you guys one more time.
23 build.
I'm mind blown right now. That's so sick. This guy has an edited wall, so it's weak, and then resets it, which makes it even weaker. Probably one pickaxeable at this point. He knows that this wall is completely one shot, right? Jumps in, pumps him midair. Doesn't even care to place a cone, because if you place a cone, you're sort of asking for the enemy to hit you first. So he just immediately goes for the pump midair as he's falling, hits the pump, cracks him, gets a 92 damage, right? The crack is what you really want to hear. That's good enough for you to completely continue to engage, right? Because you just broke his shields. He's gonna just jump up, place this cone from underneath, edit, and then reset, and then goes for the shot. Really wonderful sequence. Beautiful aim right there as well. He's covering his top right here. He's just getting ahead, right? Doesn't have that many mats, but after this kill, he has like 700 mats, so that was a really important impact. Random guy comes out of here. Deyy reacts really fast by placing as many builds as possible and then, you know, pulling out a shotgun. This stair was not Deyy's actually, so there was the enemies, but, you know, even in a surprising moment, Deyy keeps his composure and hits a shot. Very important fact. Sometimes it literally just comes down to that. Some moments in the game, it literally comes down to your aim. In an endgame, it becomes chaotic. So for those people who are really used to staying organized and only, you know, having things that they want to happen to them, then you're gonna have a lot of trouble in this sort of situation. But Deyy, who's very used to chaos, is very comfortable in this sort of situation, and he hits a shot, right? He still has a significant amount of mats here. He has 600 mats. This guy jumps in again, hit your shot situation, and Deyy wins, right? Because of this key shot right here helped him, right? The fact that he only has a green pump and he notices that this guy's coming in and then hits a shot right here. 92. This guy gets in. He takes his time. He doesn't shoot right away when his pump's ready. He actually takes his time and makes sure it's lined up. Takes his time and make sure he hits the shot. Because the only way he dies at that point is if he misses a shot, right? If he misses a shot, he loses. Getting sprayed from height, he really needs to understand the covers. Oh, that is very, very unfortunate. In this case, Deyy stays in a spot for way too long. This allows for an enemy to come in unsuspecting behind him, because if you sit in a spot way too long during a moving zone, it's very easy for someone to jump in on you because you're not mobile, right? It's very easy for someone to just jump in on your box because they've been studying you for a while. Like, they see you in one spot for a long time. Also, he's getting sprayed from height, so a lot of attention is going to come your way. He needs to just go forward immediately, spend a lot of mats by full tunneling. He's going to place these floors and just tunnel ahead. Once he's ahead by a little bit, maybe 4 to 5 blocks, then he should pop flopper mini, right? That's going to be the best action right here, right? Because of the fact that, you know, there's a lot of people in storm behind him, a lot of people in front of him, and if he just sits in his box trying to heal, he will die. He has a lot of mats, right? So he gets us a little bit of a pause moment, and that's enough to get you killed, right? So you cannot hesitate in endgame. And you'll find with a lot of these how to W key like the pros videos, the things that I'm going to be repeating is the HP advantage, right? Because HP advantage is one of the most important numbers that you must be keeping track of while you're fighting in Fortnite, right? Whether it's mid game or end game. So definitely make sure you're keeping track of it. So this fight right here, pretty simple, right? HP advantage into jump in, right? Actually doesn't have an HP advantage at all. So let's try to understand why he's W keying this. That guy popping a mini? I think he might be popping a mini. He's either popping a mini or he's very scuffed, right? And Deyy has some sort of prior information to jump in on this kid, right? The scuffness could either be the fact that he's hiding in a wood box, kind of playing a little bit too scared, like he might be either bad or he's very scuffed, which gives Deyy the really good opportunity to jump in. I don't encourage this for most people. I really think that this is sort of like a Deyy playstyle thing, right? If you're confident that you're gonna win in these sorts of situations, then you can do it. But like, this is just a Deyy thing. Just the confidence, the fact that he can out aim the opponent, so he just goes for the fight.
That was the kid that was spraying it.
So this perfect example of going for a fight. I don't think he meant to do this, right? He doesn't have HP advantage. If anything, like, I know his HP didn't get hit by that much. He's only down 30 HP, but an even HP advantage is not an excuse to go for a 50-50. And this is exactly why Deyy loses this fight. That was the kid that was spraying it, right? He loses the fight just because he goes for a fight when he doesn't have HP advantage. This fight is very simple, 30 HP damage. It's not that big of an HP advantage, but if you really pay attention, Deyy's playing this slow. He's not actually full W king because of the fact that his HP advantage is not that big, right? So he's playing it relatively slow, but he notices that this guy's getting sprayed by someone else, right? And then he notices he can naturally find this right hand peak by going to the right here, and that will give him a right hand peak on the enemy's builds. So he does that, right? He has a right hand peak right there, which allows him to get the kill. Okay, very difficult. He got hit, so he's gonna get W keyed and die. HP advantage is everything, man. Right? So the key problem here as to why he died, the fact that he based in wood and also based really close to that guy. So if he changed layers, it might have been better, right? So he based on this guy's layer while getting hit. And also, I don't think this is a good rotate, right? I don't think he should do this. I think what he should do is place this floor, jump up again, place a ramp facing the wall, place a wall here so you don't get boxed, and then edit out and then make your own blocks. So I think that sequence is something that, you know, you can do to make sure you don't get hit. Getting that first hit is enough. Like, even 100 damage, that's enough for someone to W key you. This is high elo lobby. The guy pushing him is definitely someone who understands the game, because, you know, he understands that he can just push Deyy right here. Deyy tries to heal, and Deyy also tries to hold a piece. Holding a piece is definitely not good, right? Because you have no guarantee that you'll get it, but also in the case of stairs, it can sort of phase through, just like this guy did here. And he's fighting mid game and end game has been exceptional. Probably why he got 10th place and made some money in the solo cash cup stuff. If you guys notice anything about Deyy that I haven't noticed, or even, you know, have questions about this video, please ask them down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.